Hey y'all, it's Two Gals in a Coffin. This is Amari.
And I'm Jude.
And today we have a new episode for you from our Bloody Delights series where we are talking about vampire films that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And today we are talking about A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yes.
Super excited to get into it.
For sure. I hadn't seen this one until recently. It's one of those movies that was like on my list for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But finally for this series we watched it. Or
Yes.
I watched it. You'd seen it for a while.
I got to watch it again.
Mhm.
And always a great time when I get to do that. This was also on our other list of
Favorite vampire
films.
That we had done a while ago.
Because I just enjoyed it that much. I watched it with a group of friends. We tend to get together every weekend when we can, or when I can. They
meet regardless. It's whether or not you're there.
Shout out to them. It's always a very interesting group chat, and they always have a lot of really interesting things to say about the films that we watch. So I love when I can. But yeah, so we watched it, and I just fell in love with it. This is such a beautifully done film. Really love it. So this film was directed by Iranian-American director Ana Lily Amirpour, and she ate.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
Made a great movie for sure. Great picture. But yeah, to go like briefly over it, like brief synopsis, just in case you haven't seen it. Well, first of all, watch the fucking movie.
Watch it.
But if not, briefly, like an overview. It's a very moody, atmospheric movie.
Yes.
But like it follows where the vampire in the movie is just referred to as the girl.
The girl.
So it's in this like fictional Iranian town called Bad City, where it seems to be populated only by the loneliest, saddest people.
It really it's not, it's called Bad City.
It's called Bad City for a reason. And there's this guy named Arash who we like are introduced into the film with.
Arash and the cat.
And the cat, sorry, the cat called the cat. Played by the brilliant Masuka, who R.I.P. rest in peace. But sorry. But yeah, so like Arash, like his father is a heroin addict and he's trying to like take care of him, but he's being extorted by this drug dealer / pimp named Saeed. Fuck Saeed, we hate him. He's so annoying. Stand him. Yeah, he's annoying. We'll get into him later.
Fuck Saeed though.
But you know who else also hates him? The girl. So like they interact. She kills him after he does the cringiest like dance routine, trying to like seem cool.
He's such a fucking loser.
Like yeah, and then oh god, Arash is like, well, Saeed stole Arash's car.
Yeah, so
that's kind of like a plot that like Arash wants his car back. Yeah,
because he steals his car because his father can't pay for it.
Yeah. He can't pay for the drugs. He lets him use it, and then it's like, well, now I need to pay for it. And steals Arash's car, which obviously Arash doesn't love. And so he steals it back. He goes to get the car back, and then he just conveniently, Saeed is no longer with us, so he just takes his car back.
Exactly. Easy peasy.
But also takes the drugs that left over.
Not so good.
Not the greatest, but he needs the money.
He needs the money, but it's so we'll get into it. But it's not great because of course he then goes and like starts
selling it because he's trying to get more money.
Right.
And then he goes to a Halloween party that he's I don't know if he's directly invited. He hears about from like the daughter of the family he works for.
Right.
And so he goes. He's dressed as Dracula. He looks like a fucking dweeb.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. And then he takes X and then like meets the girl while he is high out of his fucking mind. And she's charmed by him, but she also looks bewildered. She's like the whole time.
What's wrong with this man? But also, I need him.
Yeah, she's like, what's wrong with this man? But I need to know more about this man.
Yeah.
And they actually have this really great, like, very all of the moments of connection are like basically completely silent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's really interesting. Like there's just these quiet, slow moments between them that are like kind of strange,
mm-hmm.
but like I think feel more intimate because of their strangeness.
They really do.
Like they're just two weirdos, affectionate, and
two weirdos trying to find some connection.
Yeah, and there's this prostitute who we saw earlier in the movie, but like it seems that the girl has been kind of following, keeping an eye on.
Kind of protecting.
Yeah.
Very much protecting, actually.
Yeah, that she had been stealing a bunch of stuff. She gave it to her. Like, there's this, like, almost desire to, like, see, like, her name's, like, Ati, like, get out of there and, like, achieve the things she wants to achieve. Even though it's not she doesn't have, like, clear, like, distinct goals and wants and desires. She just knows she wants something and it's not here.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an interesting scene as well. And there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So.
But ultimately, like, leads up to this like really bad scene between Arash's father and
because
Ati.
He's also in the past he's visited her, and now he's like trying to. Engage with that again, and it doesn't go well.
No, it goes very poorly, and then he is killed by the girl
because he makes some
bad decisions,
terrible decisions.
But yeah, and then Arash is like, I'm leaving town, decides to go and pick up the girl, and then realizes that it's probably her who killed his father. They're driving, he kind of gets out, but then comes back in, ultimately making the decision that he's sticking with her, and then the movie ends. And it's really good.
It's really good. Okay. I don't know if we did it justice, but it's really good.
The hardest part is talking about a movie that, like, is mostly about curating a vibe and a mood and a feeling and then sustaining that. And there's not, like, a whole lot of dialogue in the movie. There
really isn't, but it works perfectly.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it would have taken away from it if they started going in and adding a bunch of unnecessary dialogue. Like, it's just the right amount.
And you had watched a thing with Ana Lily Amirpour where she said that, like, the movie was heavily inspired by, like, spaghetti westerns and all that.
Yes, yeah. So, like, this is a vampire horror / Western film, but very much specifically influenced by spaghetti westerns. And if you don't know what those are, Jude.
Oh, spaghetti westerns. If you're not familiar with the term, it's a kind of very informal, but way of describing like all of those Western films that were made by primarily Italian crews. So like the most iconic one would be like the Dollars series with Clint Eastwood, which is Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Hang 'em High.
Yeah.
Those and like the whole deal, like most spaghetti westerns as opposed to like your standard American westerns, is that it's very everyone's kind of morally gray.
Morally gray. They really lean into like the setting being bad. Essentially.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to show that it's like dirty and like run down. The music for one.
Oh my god. Like
which is heavily the music in this film.
Fantastic.
They got that down. When it comes to spaghetti westerns, they got that down real tight. And then also another aspect, because I actually, I'm not really a Western kind of guy, so like I didn't know the term spaghetti westerns until this movie, to be completely fair. So I did do my little research, and looked into it and all that. Okay.
I always say I love the idea of westerns, but then I watch them and forget that I hate Manifest Destiny. And so then I'm just like, this shit sucks. So I love it when something uses the format of a western, but is not actually like straight up and down cowboys and little. Yeah.
Here we go.
It's really, so I love it. I love things that have a western feel, but aren't actually westerns.
Yeah.
Because of all that. But yeah, I did know I remember a long time ago, I asked my dad, I was like, what's a spaghetti Western? And he was just like, it's just Italians made it. My dad was like, it's Italians made it, you know, like spaghetti.
Not like
like, yeah.
Oh my god.
He's like, and Italians eat spaghetti, so it's a spaghetti Western.
Is that what he said for real?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's just why. So yeah. Anyway. But yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the other thing that I had seen was that they're also not afraid to like get a little bit more like nasty with the blood and everything, and really just like let it be, you know, be realistic. There's a lot more realism and grit, and we get that here too.
Yeah. I also think like this movie has a very like strong neo-noir vibe,
Yes.
like going with,
for sure,
like with the original, because like the reason why a noir is called a noir is because those movies were filmed with really dark shadows.
Oh god, and the use of shadows in
so
this
good.
film is so, it's excellent.
I always say like in the age of color, digital, especially like all of that, it's such a flex when you're like, I'm filming it in black and white, because you have to make sure your value, like, for those of you who don't know, there's a thing called values, and it has to do with the quality of light. So you have your highlights, your midtones, and your shadows. And if you're doing black and white, the light becomes the most important thing in the entire movie, and making sure you have good values.
They did that.
The values are insane.
It's my favorite. Honestly, I think it's like one of my favorite things about this movie. That's why it was on my list, to be honest. I just love the usage of the black and white cinematography.
Oh my god.
Ugh. Especially the usage of the cape.
Oh my god.
When she's like just like cloaked in the dark shadows. Instead of like an actual like cloak or cape or whatever, the usage of her black chowder instead, and how it would cloak her in shadows as she was like creeping around, being a little like.
Speaking of like it's like a really strange silhouette because it's entirely shapeless, but also becomes like very distinct.
Yeah.
And like is shown a couple times before you actually like see her. Like there's like the sign that shows her on the skateboard. I didn't notice it
the first time when you pointed it out. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the girl on the skateboard. It's on that little like caution sign. And then there's like another poster of like this thing, and it doesn't have a face on it.
That does make me think though. Because, like, she didn't get a skateboard to afterwards. Was that just, like, a little fun, cheeky thing?
I think it's just a fun, cheeky thing.
Has she stolen
She's stolen another skateboard. I think there's a really interesting thing that's done a couple times in this movie in which the characters themselves become part of the landscape. Because, like, there's the scene where Rockabilly is dancing with the balloon. Which is a scene that I couldn't say in the plot because it's a scene that's very strange, but also it's like very thematically important, but also I don't know how to describe. But there's a scene where this character named Rockabilly is dancing with a balloon, and a lot of the graffiti on the walls is very similar to Saeed's tattoos.
Yeah.
Like they're on the walls. I remember
when you pointed that out. I was like, oh,
because I saw the sex tattoo was on the wall. And then he has the tattoo on the side of his head that I also saw on the wall. And I was like, his tattoos are on the wall. So there's like a way in which like the city is the people in it. And so I'm like, her being in the city on like the sign and then in that one poster. And I think it's interesting that neither one of them have faces because she can't see herself either. So it's like she's in the city. Like all of them are a part of the city in a literal way. And that makes a lot of
sense because the only time like we constantly see the like drilling for like oil and how it's just kind of it feels like this like symbol of like not exploitation but just you're just using they're like
sucking it dry.
You're sucking it dry like a vampire. And and all of these characters, what I do love about them, that all of them are morally gray, but all of them kind of suck someone else dry a little bit, or they're exploiting others in some way. So it does make sense that like the city itself is also doing this, and they're all part of.
Yeah. Something else, because you mentioned the drilling. It's like I throw this around a lot, but there is kind of a David Lynch vibe.
Did you get kind of a David Lynch vibe?
Did you get kind of a David Lynch vibe? But like there were scenes.
There really is though.
Yeah, there's scenes like especially like the shots of like the industrial like sites. It's the ones at night kind of give me like Eraserhead, like that like desolate city that's just factories. I felt that really strong when I was watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had talked earlier because we done a little research, and this film was shot entirely in Los Angeles. Why it takes place in this very fictional Iranian town. It was shot in Los Angeles, and you were saying that that's probably also part of the
reason why I got that vibe too. Because like a lot of David Lynch movies, I would say. Well, I'll say a lot. The two I think of off the top of my head would be like Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire are really about LA.
And when you said that, I was like, you know what? I do see it 100%.
Yeah, like those shots, I don't know, there's something about it. And like, because there's parts of it that kind of feel 50s. Like I kept saying like Arash the whole time, he looked like he was styled like James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. He looked so 1950s, like in his styling and the way they chose to shoot him.
I love.
I know, I'm obsessed with. And like there's the thing with all these little bits with the characters that feel removed from time, because like it ostensibly like takes place in the present day, but it's so hard to nail the time period.
Yeah.
Like Saeed feels contemporary, but then he's talking to Arash who feels like he's from the 50s, and then like the girl when she's in her apartment looks like she's dressed like very 60s-ish. And like there's something also 50s about like Ati, like the way she's dressed. Like it's just a place removed from time, and I think that's a very interesting place for a vampire to be, in a place removed from time.
Also, I think kind of lends to the very isolated feeling of the city, and then these characters as well within like
so yeah, and then there's like one scene where like Ati is dancing for Hussein that to me felt like, especially like a little bit like newer David Lynch, like if you've seen The Return, which I learned most people haven't.
I haven't.
Well, you have to finish Twin Peaks and then you can watch The Return.
Is it part of?
It's the third season.
Oh.
That came out 25 years after the original season.
I knew that.
But it also gave me like Blue Velvet vibes too. But one of the things I really loved about that scene was and I'm going to use a really annoying word, which is the light in that movie is like non-diegetic, which I think is so fun to do and like not pretend is natural. So for those of you who don't know, so there's two different types of elements in a movie. There's diegetic and non-diegetic. So diegetic means that the characters in the movie or the show or whatever can see it and hear it. So like if you're watching something and they're watching like a musical performance, the music is diegetic because the characters can hear it too. But non-diegetic music is when the score is on and the audience can hear it, but the characters can't. So like there's a light on a fucking C-stand that you see in that scene that wasn't there before. That's kind of like a non-diegetic light that just enters into the shot to make it have that like strange like halo around Ati that I love.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, and I love that it didn't pretend to be natural. And I love it when movies like don't pretend to be natural or like real, quote unquote, because like vampire like stories are inherently also fantasy horror. So just to be like, it's not real, it's fantasy, like is so fun. I love it when movies do that. And I think too many movies and shows get so caught up in naturalism and realism that they end up looking uglier because they're too concerned about where the light would realistically be coming from. But sometimes it used to be you just put the light where it's going to make everyone look good.
Exactly. Like
who cares if it doesn't make sense that the light is coming from there? It looks great, you know?
Honestly, we need to get back to those roots.
Yeah, make more things non-diegetic. I don't really care about where the light is coming from if it looks cool as hell. Cool,
sign me up. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and, kind of chat about the characters themselves, because they also are what really like make this film so interesting.
Yeah.
And in general, we already kind of talked about how like these characters are all very like morally gray, morally gray. They're dealing with their own struggles, and while also there are other folks that they're like harming in the process as well. And that's the piece that I really do enjoy about them. That's what I really actually initially really loved about the girl herself, because she's out here, she's serving this role as like a protector, but then sometimes she's doing things that, like she kills a houseless man, like just sitting by the wall. And
Yeah.
that part, was pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. But then there's also other aspects of her trying to be this protector for Ati, and taking out these like abusers who are out running around the street. And I love when I love allowing especially female characters be they don't have to be good.
Yeah.
But they're also not like bad. They're just who they are. And I love that for her. I love that about her. Um and all the other characters as well, they're also complex. There's a lot of empathy that you have for a lot of them, while also recognizing that the things that they are also doing are fucked up. Like, I think a lot about Hussein, and how recognizing how like difficult, like struggling with addiction is not an easy thing. Sometimes I hear the way that people talk about people with addiction, and I'm like, you guys don't even understand at all what that's like. And so like there is like a lot of empathy for him there, while also like recognizing later when he then is spending that night with Ati, and then he forces her to participate.
Yeah.
And injects her without her consent. So it's all so wavy.
Yeah, and also like you can tell that like the reason why he's like doing drugs
is because
of his grief at losing his wife, and then like a lot of his issues with Ati come from him wanting to be more connected to her, but she's not interested in connection. Which like you find someone who is, because like he's forcing connection on her because he's lonely.
And that's like that's like such a really big theme in this film is.
So this is why it also feels so neo-noir. It's like a town full of lonely people. Lonely, broken souls.
If that's not what a vampire film is about, then like you're kind of doing it wrong anyways.
Yeah, I think there is something so like inherently lonely about vampirism, like being a vampire and stuff. So like to really lean into it, I think is like the whole point when you're like kind of doing more of like this movie's like very character study. Like, so doing like this character study of a vampire, it's just like being insanely alone. And I love, because I didn't notice the first time that she doesn't have a reflection. But there's a couple of scenes in which the lack of reflection is used in such an interesting way. Like there's the scene where she's talking to Ati in like her apartment, where she's sitting there and she doesn't have a reflection, but then Ati sits in front of it, and it's kind of like now the conversation's about her. Where initially she was trying to get information about the girl who wasn't giving anything at all. She sits down and then they start talking about her, and she's the only person reflected in the mirror. And I just love that use of like the mirror, because it's not obvious, it's happening all in the background.
I think that is really interesting, especially considering that the girl herself doesn't have a reflection. So like utilizing it with like these other characters despite that is really, I think it's really fun. And also it just kind of reminds me, I had mentioned earlier to Jude that the other thing I really enjoy about this film is the fact that you have this like theme of like loneliness and like isolation and the vampire outcast, but then everyone else in the city is also in that same place seeking connection. And I think it's just a lot of vampire films is so focused on just the vampire that you don't get to see the mirror of like the humans around them also experiencing the same thing, which I feel like just kind of heightens the sense of that these so-called like monstrous creatures are just really just like still humans at the core. So I really love that about this a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of the human characters, we talked a little bit about it, but I do love how the relationship between the girl and Arash, they're just two freaks.
They're really cute.
They're two little weirdos.
For me to care about a straight couple, you got to do the work. You gotta be fun, you gotta be interesting, you gotta check all my boxes. They check all my boxes because they're just fucking weirdos. They're so fucking awkward and weird.
The scene where like he buys her earrings, but then instead of asking are your ears pierced, just reaches over and kind of like untucks her ear.
Yeah.
So he can see and goes, oh, they're not pierced. And then she just hands him a safety pin and has him pierce her ears.
And he does it?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are freaks.
Yeah. Because like he didn't know she was a vampire, so he just grabbed. Well, did he sanitize it with the lighter?
Yes, he did.
Okay, good, yeah. Because I was thinking, it's like, thank God, please. But
he's
yeah,
kind of a silly little guy, but at least he has some sense. He's a little.
But then it's like free-handed, stabbed her earlobes. Thank God they were like not crooked as hell.
Right? Honestly, kind of impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, you should be doing that instead. But yeah, they're so weird. Those two strange guys. But also one of the things I liked about their meeting was that they were kind of. I think it's so fun that like she sees him when he's like in a shitty vampire costume,
Dracula costume.
Because like in a way, it is a literal reflection of her there. Like she's just like they're both wearing these cloaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his bad plastic vampire teeth in. I just think that's really funny that like she sees this person in a vampire costume and then decides that this is the person she wants to connect with because she sees a little bit of herself in him.
Yeah.
And it's symbolized by the Dracula costume, but
honestly, I love that scene so much. It's both like really, it's so humorous, but also is really sweet because I do love how he like goes and like and he hugs her and she's just like you can see in her face she's like hasn't probably been hugged in like a long ass time.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh.
I know. And like the thing is with that scene is that when we were watching he's just like I don't know if I can walk. I had jokingly said put him on the skateboard and like
oh yeah
pull
the
him
first
along.
time we watched it.
And then the next scene that's exactly what she was doing and I'm like you both are so goofy.
They really are.
Like, it's so funny.
I have such a softness for them. I do like when they go back to her place and, you know, I love vampires are vampires. I love when she like tilts his head back and she puts her hand on his forehead and he just like lets her do whatever. He's just like vibing. He's high. He don't give a fuck. And she like looks at his throat and I'm like, the first time I was like, is she gonna bite him? Is she gonna bite him? But she doesn't. She just like leans forward and like rests her head on his chest and against his heart. And it's all very cute. I'm like, all right, straight people.
I'll give you this
got it
one.
this time. You got me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love the ending. I love the fact that, you know, he's figured out that.
Yeah, once he saw her with the cat, he was like, she
wow.
killed my dad.
Yeah. I love the look that he just like, you can't see my face, but his little raised
he did, like,
eyebrow.
The Pixar eyebrow just now.
Leave me out loud.
Okay.
He does the whole raised brow and just watching her. And she's continuing to just like get ready. And she like looks at him and he's watching her. And then they go in his car. And he's driving. And he pulls over. And he's like, you can feel him trying to figure out what the fuck is he gonna do. He goes out. He leaves his car and he's just, pacing around. And then he comes back and he looks at her and he puts in the cassette and he's like, you know what? Freak for freak. You may kill my dad, but we're in it for life.
We're in it. Yeah.
And I love it. Honestly, eat it up. I eat it up real bad.
There's something I really love, and I don't know, it like those stories where like this sort of thing, I think specifically I prefer it more when either it's queer or like if the woman is the evil entity.
Yeah.
Where like it's discovered that she is like a monster.
Yeah.
And the other person's just like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm accepting this about you. Because it's not like he was just like, you've got to change. He was just like, this is my girlfriend.
Right.
She killed my dad. She kills people. Probably eats them. But that's also none of my business.
He's like, I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
That's her business.
Speaking of her killing and eating people, one of the things I thought was so interesting that I always thought was interesting is just the open pit of bodies that no one cares about or addresses.
What's up with that?
And I love it as like a surrealist element or just like a symbol of the inherent violence of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's someone dropped a body in there during the daytime and no one cared. When they were dragging Hussein's body to where they like left it, they weren't even really trying to hide it. Like it's not, no one cares about the violence. True, like not really. You don't see a single police officer. There's no law in this city, and I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that is really.
I don't know if you ever hear someone say, "I'm gonna call the cops." Like I don't think that's a thing that happens.
They're so removed from. That's like
yeah,
very removed from the city. Yeah.
The non-existent Bad City PD just doesn't exist.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about who the only person I would call the cops on, now can I finally like talk shit about Saeed?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about him, honestly.
Well, I want to talk shit about him. We already gave you kind of like a little rundown, but like specifically when we watched this movie together, I was like, I am just waiting for my opportunity to talk shit about this man because I can't stand him. As we mentioned, when he's like, he ends up in a room with the girl and he's just like dancing like a fucking loser. His apartment
is shitty. It sucks shit. And it's covered with like pictures and tiger print and all. Like it's the worst design ever.
All his tattoos, bad.
The tattoos are so bad. Yeah.
Sex tattoo on his fucking neck, bad.
Yeah.
Cringe as fuck. I can't deal with him. I can't deal with him at all. But you know who else? You know who else is a freak though? He's also a freak.
Oh my god, yeah, when like the fangs drop and he just like reaches over and just touches them.
Like that part was the only thing that was kind of real about nothing else about him is real at all. Like he's going to jail, he's dead already, he's in the pit. He's in the bottom of the pit where he belongs. We can like crank that up, put the flames,
Yeah.
Get him out of here. But that part was real. And we both had mentioned that I was very much giving Daniel Malloy.
Yeah, the don't be afraid to start the tape, Daniel Malloy. Can you do the thing with the fangs again?
Yeah.
Can you do the fang thing again?
Because he touches him and then he puts his finger back in her mouth.
I know
nothing
where the teeth are.
I'm like, what do you think those are? What do you think is going on?
I know.
And then rightfully, she chomps his fucking finger off, and I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
This is what you fucking get. Oh my god. He's so cringe. His style is cringe. Everything about him is just...
What's that old like Vine? It was just like
I was trying to think, but I couldn't remember.
What's his something? Whack!
Yeah.
Wait, he doesn't like to smile. Whack!
I can't remember how it goes. I'm so annoyed.
You know what we're talking about.
Hi, old people. Well.
But yeah, he sucks. And I just the whole time he kept being like, this guy sucks. Get him out of my fucking face. And then thankfully the girl took care of that for us.
She's so real for that.
Yeah, because and I love the way like she's also looking around like this fucking loser.
Mm-hmm.
I also love how awkward she is.
Yes.
Okay, she just sort of like always stands there and it's like
her big old eyes.
Yeah.
Her little awkward big-eyed
vampire.
Cough.
You know.
Hey, Armand. It's not about you though today.
No, not today.
But yeah, no, I love her. She's amazing.
I love how she chooses to bully a boy for no reason.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't like, you know, there's just something.
Steals his fucking skateboard.
She stole his skateboard after scaring him so bad.
Like that's like the only time you really see her like talk. There's a couple other times that like she really, really took advantage of that part, that moment to use her words. Yeah, for sure.
To scare a little boy and steal his skateboard. My other favorite like little bit, and I don't know why, is when she is facing the wall and just sort of like sliding down it with the skateboard. Like there's something so, I don't know, sometimes it just feels like there's something like a deep-seated curiosity in her and just like doing things just to do them. And like because also like if you're gonna live forever you're gonna get kind of bored, and so like just seeing the quiet ways in which she tries to entertain herself I think are just really interesting, like the strange mannerisms she picks up just from being like kind of a antisocial weirdo.
Yeah, and honestly I love that so much about her. And that reminds me, I watched a interview and found out she's about like 187 years old. And now it makes me want to know more about like when exactly was she turned, how was she turned. I want all these answers to questions I will never have answered now, because I really love what they've built here, and I'm just so curious.
Oh, and then the other thing I was gonna say, I think because I was just thinking about the past when you were saying that, is that what I think is so interesting about her, like, kind of being from, like, 180 something years old, is that originally what I had learned, I did a little bit of research, was that Iranian Revolution, the black chador was primarily only like worn for funerals and like mourning periods, and she's the only one in the movie who wears it. And so I just think that that's really fun too.
That is really interesting.
That she's basically just out there already dressed for the funeral.
Yeah. That she's bringing to you.
Yeah.
So watch it. Behave. Speaking of funerals,
it's the death of this episode.
But Ashley, yeah. We have I think we talked like a good bit about this movie, and
it's really good.
It's really good.
It's so good.
So good. No, but for real, like this
I'm like,
movie...
there's an echo in here.
Or maybe a shadow.
No.
Okay, whatever. I guess I'm not funny, but whatever.
Well,
okay. Anyways,
that's been this episode of Bloody Delights. The next one is gonna be about.
Is it The Lost Boys?
I think it's The Lost Boys.
You know, classic
vampire movie.
So, you know, watch it ahead of us.
If you haven't already.
That's crazy.
It'd be crazy if you hadn't, but I also know that not everyone's seen everything.
That's true. There's a lot of things I haven't seen. I'm like a little baby bird watching things.
Oh, you know how baby birds watch movies anyway. But yeah, so the next one's gonna be about the Lost Boys.
And watch this movie if you haven't.
Yes.
Or else I have a fist up.
Yeah.
And as if I'm going to say scram, but that doesn't work here. But it doesn't matter. Go watch it now.
Oh.
Or get off my yard.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yeah, that's it.
It's gonna be coming out. That one, the Lost Boys one's gonna be coming out in December. Can you believe it's already almost December?
Holy shit.
And then our last one, which is gonna be about Kronos.
No, we have one more.
Oh wait.
Our last one's gonna be Ganja and Hess.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay,
so February.
One in January, the one after.
Yeah, so
Lost
we have
Boys.
The next one is the Lost Boys coming out in December. In January, we have Kronos coming out, and then in February we're going to end it with Ganja and Hess, and then we have to figure out what else we want to talk about.
Yeah, now you got to think about something else.
Wait, I think we're going to talk about things we hate.
Oh yeah, I love to talk about things I hate.
You might already know that by now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're gonna get a lot more of it, so stay tuned.
Yeah. You know, like, people say that, like, it's so easy to hate on stuff, but there is a skill in criticism, and I have worked very hard to be good at talking about the things I hate.
Good at it. I'm just like, fuck this, and you're like, let me spell it out for you.
Well, I had
to beautifully.
I had to do that for school.
Yeah.
So I can explain why I don't like something because I had to do it a lot. But anyway,
art.
It really is. There's an art to hating, and some of you have to get good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Study.
Anyway, that's all for. Sorry.
I was just being annoying.
I was just gonna wrap it up and be like, that's
all, folks.
Yeah, that's all for this episode. We're so glad you listened to it. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on it if you have any extra bits of info on this movie that we don't have. And
depending on the platform you're watching this, listening to this on, if you're listening to it on YouTube, feel free to comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If you've seen this movie, how you felt about it.
Well, can't you leave comments on Spotify podcast? You can leave ratings. So give us 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars, please.
Anyway. But yeah, anyway, that's it for us today. Bye.
Bye.